to introduction of the Global Eutrophication Watch. We have the Global Eutrophication Watch, which we recently published in Nature Communication. So this paper, open access paper, you can read it and see details about this Global Eutrophication Watch. And here we introduce a preliminary screening of coastal eutrophication. So as Dr. Ishizaka briefly introduced, this coastal eutrophication is caused by high inputs of nutrients. So usually under pristine condition or healthy condition. So we have a balance between input of nutrients in the ocean with the demand of nutrients from plants in the ocean. So here, because everything is balanced, so we have a balanced production and consumption of phytoplankton, and we have a healthy ecosystem. So in this condition, water remains relatively under good condition where light can penetrate, and not only phytoplankton can grow in the surface, but also seagrass in the bottom can grow, because condition is good enough for light to penetrate. But when there's a disturbance, mostly here we are seeing from human activities, for example, industry or from household waste and other things, or atmospheric deposition, we have increased input of nutrients. So this increased input of nutrient cause overgrowth of phytoplankton. And this overgrowth result in, for example, high phytoplankton production that also increase, for example, where Professor Ishizaga introduced that with increased productivity, we have more sinking material. So this sinking material, which is organic matter also, when sink and is decomposed, will consume oxygen. So then we have a loss of oxygen. This loss of oxygen results in fish not being able to survive under very low oxygen condition. And also because phytoplankton increase a lot, there is more limited penetration of light to the deep water. And this also results in disappearance of submerged vegetation like seagrass and other things. So under eutrophication, or what we call cultural eutrophication, the condition is result in this case that we have fish kills or red tides and other problems associated. So what we did in this coastal eutrophication watch, we use satellite to evaluate temporal trends. We use a time series of satellite. Here we combine long-term data set from the sea waves era around 98, and we put this data. And we try to find the trend, temporal trend of the time series. So this temporal trend tells us that in this coastal ecosystem, what has been happening over time. For example, if there is increasing chlorophyll and we can detect it, or if there is decreasing, or if nothing is happening, then we have that condition. And we identify the trends here, and we also use some threshold level, which will tell us what areas are associated with high chlorophyll and what areas are associated with low chlorophyll areas. And when we combine this kind of information, we can obtain something like this one, which has 6 colors shown on the right side. On top, we have high chlorophyll with decreasing. In the middle, high chlorophyll with no trend, and on the top right, high chlorophyll with increase. So if we have high chlorophyll and increasing trend, we say that this is a eutrophication potential, because over this period of time, for example, 98 to present, chlorophyll has been increasing and it remains high. So there is this area of concern. On the other hand, if we have low chlorophyll, here we have LD, which is low decreasing, LN low no trend, and LI low increasing. We can say the same for the lower part. Low decreasing over this period has been decreasing and it's low. It means there is also another problem that we are having, what we called, what Professor Shizaga said is reverse of eutrophication, which is oligoeutrophication. So chlorophyll is consistently decreasing. Maybe water condition is becoming too clean, as we heard in the lecture at the beginning. So this kind of preliminary screening really gives us a good way to look at different conditions in a very simple and condensed way. So we combine different information here to put everything together. So here is just details about how this trend detection is obtained. So here we get the annual maximum, and then from this annual maximum, we estimate the trend, a pixel-wise estimation of the trend. And then we can have a global map like this, which can tell us where we have high and where we have low, or where we have no trend. So blue is decreasing, red is increasing, and golden is no trend. And we also use some threshold to say areas of high or low. So based on composite, we take the mean of recent 3 years, as shown here in this map. And then these recent 3 years, we use for the NAUPAP region, we use a threshold of 5 milligram. So this 5 milligram will split high and low. So we can see that mostly only the coastal region appear as high, above 5 milligram. And then combined, then we generate the eutrophication potential map. And today we will introduce the Global Eutrophication Watch, which applies that simple methodology, but very powerful in the global ocean using Google Earth Engine. So this is the screenshot of the app. Previously, it was experimental, but now it's no longer. You won't see this experimental logo anymore. So it's a Global Eutrophication Watch app. And it has different panels, but quite simple. It has dataset specification. So if you have a regional dataset, as we will explain, and you would like to use this regional dataset, basically you can tell this app where your regional dataset is located, but inside the Google Earth Engine, and it will use it to do the assessment. We know that in coastal regions, there's a lot of issues associated with the global dataset in terms of quality. So many people develop regional product, and this regional product can be applied for this eutrophication screening. You can also use the YOC, which also, again, Professor Isaka introduced briefly. The YOC is a regional product developed in this region in collaboration with China, Korea, and Japan around the East China Sea. So this is used also in the dataset is available from the Global Eutrophication Watch. You can also indicate the period of assessment. You can choose the start and end year, but this is dependent on your dataset, the available time inside your dataset. And here you can specify the threshold. Our procedure defined 3 years, but you can use different procedure by just different period by just indicating the start and end period. And most importantly, you can also select your threshold, so you don't have to be stuck on the 5 milligram used by the NAUPAP program. And on the right, you can see the time series. If you click on the map, you can get the time series and the trend line shown here. Okay. And yeah, like I was explaining, we can use a regional data set. So here is just a simple view of this regional data set. And you also have an option to do comparative assessment. So if you click here on toggle map views, you can compare two different periods. You can run trends over different periods and see, for example, you see on the left we have 98, 2015, on the right, 98, 2020. You see that until this period, there was increasing trend, but after that, chlorophyll decreased again. So this is quite powerful and very user-friendly. You can see it right away and you can click inspect the map in different points and learn about the different conditions shown by the 6-color map. Yeah, so this YOC, like I explained, it's a regional data set in this area. So here you can see it's a YOC and NASA standard. It's a combined data set in this area where there is a strong influence of suspended sediment and sedum colored dissolved organic matter. So this is applied to this area, while on the eastern side, we just use the standard NASA standard for case 1. And this one, yeah, again, it was a regional effort. Here you see the data set shown in colors that were contributed for the development of this algorithm here. This is one picture where people gathered to discuss about the development of this regional product. And this is one example from our paper where we looked at the Bohai Sea and we found that there is improving water quality. If you see, of course, we focus on the red patch, but if you also see this light blue between this period on the left, 2015 and 2019, you can clearly see that there is a decreasing light blue patch and red patch also. They're all decreasing, meaning that these indicate increasing trend. So red is high increasing and light blue is low increasing. So both are eutrophication potential. And these eutrophication potential patches have been decreasing, which indicates that water conditions are improving, are becoming better. So probably this will associate with decrease of other events like red tides and so on. So it's a really nice tool to give you a quick look at the conditions. So you can quickly see these things and start to investigate what are the conditions behind. So in this case, we found that improving air quality might be one of the big contributors for this improving water quality because of atmospheric deposition in this area. And we are also working on having more high quality data. Currently on Google Earth Engine, we only have global data set, which is NASA 4-kilometer data. So for our assessment, for this assessment in the Bohai Sea, we used the YOC product, which give us better quality data. So, and this data is 1 kilometer resolution. But for the global map, which you see here, maybe I will show later, for the global map is using 4-kilometer resolution NASA, MODIS aqua data. So we need to have more high resolution data that will enable looking at more coastal region and inland waters. For example, this image here is SGLI 250 meter. So we ingested this image into Earth Engine and we show, you can see that very near the coastal area, you can see that it's covering quite nicely. So this enable looking at those coastal waters, which are very important for the fishery production. And then currently we are working on ingesting this data to Earth Engine. And we already tested ingesting SWAF images, meaning that original satellite images in Perf engine, and we will be working on doing these things. And we are also collaborating with Google team to help us do these activities. So in summary, we introduced this global eutrophication watch. It can be used for rapid and cost-effective screening of eutrophication. This can help identify areas in need of eutrophication management or improving water quality. It's ideal for raising awareness raising and education. So these are some points we make, but I would like to make a sorry, I stopped sharing. I would like to make a simple demonstration of the global eutrophication watch. You can also open it as I make the demonstration here. The links are available on the materials provided. If you downloaded it, if you download the materials, the link is available on this presentation, but I will also share it on the chat. So I just posted the link of the app on the chat. So this is our global eutrophication watch app. So once you enter the link, it will automatically open. So it will automatically open, and you can zoom in or zoom out. So when you zoom in or zoom out, the map will be recalculated. So you will see the map updating because it changes the pixel resolution depends on the zoom level of the map on Google Earth Engine. So you can, if you click any point, for example, I'm clicking here in this area in light blue, you will see that the chart is updating. It's saying generating chart, and you see a new chart. So if you click on this link, it will open this time series in a new window, and you can download this time series and do any other analysis. So here is where I was explaining earlier. So we can use the YOC. If we click use the YOC, now the app is updating, is creating a new map now based on the YOC product. So this YOC product is only limited to the NAUPAP region. So you see only around this area is shown. So we only get the time series here. And if we click here to compare different periods, you will have a split window. And this split window, it will be using, you can specify different periods. And also you can choose whether you want to compare only the trends for the first period or next period, or you want to see the final product, which is the map. But basically, the result you will see will be consistent because the eutrophication potential map is based on the trend. So you can simply, I will wait a little bit while it's updating. So for example, here you can clearly see the contrast between these two different periods. The amount of light blue will decrease as we move to a later period here, and it will increase in earlier period here. And you can also inspect the points. For example, this point, it was light blue previously, and it became blue, dark blue. So I can click here, and then I can get the time series here and look at them. So what is going on? So actually this one is the same. So let's try here. Yeah, so you can get things like this. You can get, so these trends are estimated based on the sand slope method, which is very good methodology for data like chlorophyll. It's non-parametric and it doesn't assume any linearity. It doesn't assume that the data set should be linear, normally distributed. And, it's very robust against outliers, for example. So yeah, we can get this. So you can experiment with this and change, for example, let's say we say instead of 5, we put 3, we will see that the area of high chlorophyll now increase. We get a much bigger patches of high chlorophyll here. You see the areas of red now have become have increased, because now instead of 5 milligrams, we are choosing 3 milligrams per meter square. So the trend basically doesn't change. This threshold has no influence over the trend. So yeah, I will stop a little bit here, and if you have any questions and comments, please.
Ligia, thank you very much for introducing Global Electrification Watch. Maybe it's nice to mention that in our app, we have this window to read asset information, and we are reading asset information given by default, which is Modis Aqua. And we also have an option to use YOC data product in our region. But yeah, so please mention about this.
Yeah, this was already mentioned before, but just to stress it again, the use of, here we are using YOC now. This is the YOC. If you see here, the YOC is only shown here. If I deselect YOC, automatically it goes back to what is default. So default here, anything you do will use Modis Aqua. So as it is written here, it says default Modis Aqua. So the Modis Aqua is always the default data set. And this Modis Aqua is global. But other than these two, you might have your regional data set, for example, because we know that many coastal regions, satellite product is not so accurate. I mean, the default, the standard product is not so accurate in the coastal region. So we have a regionally tuned algorithm that improve the data. So in that case, you can specify here, it says enter asset path here. So asset means your data set in Earth Engine. So it means you prepare the data set, you uploaded it to Earth Engine, and then you tell this app where this data set is located, and the app will use this data set to do the assessment. Yeah, thank you, Dr. Genki, for bringing up this point again.
And the asset information has to be in the form of monthly composite. Is that correct?
Yes, has to be in the form of monthly composite. But in practice, I found that even if it's not, basically it will do it. It's doing the monthly composite, whether it is in monthly or not. I found it. Yeah, but if it's monthly composite, it's better. It's simple. It's straightforward.
Okay. We have only like 1 minute to the break. So if you have any questions, please raise your hand and ask him a question. And if you have any difficulties installing Anaconda, again,
Yes.
Let us know. This tool is really good if you have non-coding experience. I'm, for example, one typical example who is non-coder. I hate coding, but sometimes you have to look at the code and to understand the flow of data processing. And in this webinar too, Eligio has made several nice scripts for you to follow all the sequence of data processing. So, but nevertheless, if you don't have this tool installed, the following hands-on session will be difficult. So yeah, please let us know. And the one question to Eligio, this data set you have prepared for this hands-on, this, I mean, the zip file you prepared has to be anywhere in the local drive? I mean, it can
Just,
be anywhere in the local drive.
Yeah, just save anywhere you like.
Okay.
Only thing to avoid that sometimes create problems is using path with space.
Yeah.
It might not be a problem, but it's good to avoid it. Yeah. Because a different system might have different response.
Mm-hmm.
So everyone is able to install a Jupyter notebook and ready to go for the next one before we go to the break.
Okay, so I see no one raising hands or asking questions. So, well, we will opening this room. Okay, I see one. Okay. Yeah, Olivia, please answer this question in the chat.
Yes. Oh, yeah, I see. Yeah, thank you for the question. Yeah, actually, this is not designed for data downloading. Of course, we implemented the option to download a point you inspect. So if you are inspecting a point, you click, you get the time series on the right, so you will be able to download that. But as a map, for example, you won't be able, at the current condition, you won't be able to download a map, for example. You can only get a point data. It's meant more for data, for exploration, I mean, screening of potential eutrophication and just a simple exploration of the data, not advanced things.
And if anyone here wants to see any other features to be added in the global eutrophication watch, please let us know anytime you have our contact.
Yeah. And please explain why you think it might be helpful. So we have a good reason to add it.
Okay, so let's take maybe 5 minutes break and reconvene at 4 p.m. in JST. Okay?
It's okay.